Okay guys, I'll be showing you guys how to create an e-flyer like this with just few techniques. In our last Zoom meeting, I showed us how to open a new file and how to set your workspace. So now go to the file, new. You can as well use Ctrl N. So now what is my title? What is my name? What do I want to give this file? What name do I want to give this file? So now September. You can give it any name of your choice. The name that you best remember it with. So I'm using 4,000 by 4,000. I'm sure we now understand how to set your workspace, because I explained pixels and inches in the last class that we had. So now RGB colors. Let me explain the difference between RGB color and grayscale. If you put your work to be a grayscale work from your setting, grayscale does not read colors. The rest here, they read colors. Bitmap, RGB, CMYK, and lab color, they read colors. But once you put it in grayscale, everything you do will be in black and white. I think one of us we did grayscale the last time we had class, Jerry. So you have to check your settings too. Your color mode, you have to check it. So now I'm using RGB color and okay. So now a workspace now is there for us. Then you double click this background to open your space layer. You can still name it the layer that you want to, but me, I'm okay with the layer 0. So press OK. So now remember, this is what we're trying to create. Go back to your workspace. Now this is the logo of what we are trying to create, but I don't want to use this. If you are creating an e-flyer like this, you should have everything readily available. So now maybe the person that gave you the work would have given you his or her logo, or if you're the one that created the logo for the person, you will know where you saved it. Then you can just go to the logo. I want to use a random image as the logo. I think I have some people's logo here. So open. You see the difference between new and open. New now is taking me to a new file, but open now is showing me my previous works. Let me see. Okay, I think this is a logo that I have. Now open. To open an old file, it reads all formats, both PSD file, like this one now, this Graysteam 2. It is in PSD format, which is a Photoshop file, while this one is a JPEG file, which is a picture. You can use both. Let me take. You can see now this logo is open here in another workspace. You still have to open any image you are working with. If it's not in PNG, you have to open, except it is in PNG or PSD, which is it is in transparent format or it is in Photoshop format. So now I have to open this one. Now it's able to move. Now it's locked. If I try to move it, it wouldn't move. You can see nothing is moving because your background is locked. In other words, your workspace is locked. You can see the prompting that came up. Could not use the move tool because the layer is locked. So now we unlock. Now I can move to this place. You can scale this because it's too much. You can go to edit, transform, scale, then you scale it. Now this is that for the logo. Now we have placed our logo. What else do we need? Now we can see that the background for this is blue. I showed us how to create. I showed us how to create our background if the initial background is not the color we intend it to be. So now I click on rectangle tool. Now sometimes this tool here, it can be circle, which is the ellipse tool. It can be like this, and now you need a rectangle tool. What you do is that at this little line, this small point that is here, you just right click on it. Other options will come out. Then you click on the rectangle. To draw this rectangle, you hold your left click on your mouse. You hold it, then you drag your mouse down. Now you can see that nothing is showing. It's not changing, but no problem. All you need to do is to come to the settings here, then fill. If you want it to be filled, you can see nothing is filled, no color has been selected. Then you just work with, okay, this is okay. Then you can see now that our rectangle has covered the logo. Sorry guys, I will be a bit fast so that the video will not be too lengthy. Now the rectangle has covered the logo. Why is this so? Look at your layers. Look at your layers. The rectangle, let me rename this layer to be logo so that we can easily get which layer is over which layer. Now this our logo, the layer of the logo is under the layer of the rectangle. That is why whatsoever is here is what will reflect in this workspace. Whatsoever is in this place where my mouse pointer is what will reflect here. So if logo is underneath rectangle here, that is what will be reflected here. That is why the rectangle is covering it. You can see once I move the rectangle now, you can see that it's not covering the logo because it's not over the screen, over the workspace. So now what you have to do, you take down underneath the logo, and that's it. The logo now is now on it. You can see it in the workspace. You can also see it in the layer panel. So now what else is here? I've done the logo part. Now this other rectangle that is here, the white and the blue rectangle, you can do this in two ways. You can do this in two ways. Now I can select a rectangle make sure, please, there's a tip I would like you guys to know. Once you are selecting a rectangle, make sure another rectangle is not on, like it's not selected in your layer panel. I don't know if you understand. If you want to do another rectangle and you have an existing rectangle in your workspace, make sure that existing rectangle is not the layer that is selected. Why is it so? Now, this rectangle, anything you do to this rectangle, it will affect the existing rectangle. That's why we make sure it is not selected. So you click on this logo layer, then you draw another rectangle. So the same thing, you work on the settings, then there is white, then remember, move to is to move layers on your workspace. That's the function of the move tool. That's just a basic function, to move, as the name implies, to move. So now this rectangle here, in this one that we have here, it is slant, but this one now is straight. How do we get this rectangle to be slanty as the one we are trying to create? You use Ctrl T. Ctrl T is the shortcut for transform. You can get transform in edit. So free transform path. What this free transform path does is that it allows you to do different things. Like you can rotate the rectangle or whatever shape you are trying to use. You can add perspective to it. Now let me explain better. All these things you see in this transform path, all these things you see, once you click on this free transform path, you can do all of these. Scale, rotate, skew, distort, perspective, warp. You can do them once you click on free transform path. Now you can see that. Now notice the shape, and notice my pointer. Once it's like this, it's showing a black point. This is indicating that you want to move it. You can see the different shapes and their indications. Once you take it to the edge, you can see two arrows from different sizes indicating that you want to reduce or increase, that is scale. You can see it. Then now once you take it out of the box, it is showing that you want to rotate. That is where the free transform part comes in. So now, and remember, to make that rectangle slanty, it just rotates, because this was how it is in that place. So you rotate and press OK. So that is it for the white part of the rectangle. Now you can now we have two rectangles there. Instead of stressing yourself to do the same process, you can just duplicate this. You can come to the layer here. I don't want to use shortcuts so that we can get it very well. So you come here, duplicate, and you right click, then you duplicate the layer, rectangle 2, copy. You can name it anything you want. You can still leave it at that. You can put second rectangle. Then now you can see that it's on look at the layer panel. The second rectangle is on the first rectangle, so you just make sure your move tool is selected, and you just take down. So now this is it. Now to work on the color, you select rectangle tool so that the option will come out. If it's a move tool, the options for the colors won't come out, but if it's in rectangle tool, the option will come out. So now you need to change the color. We use light blue in that other one. So I'm not getting the colors accurate. I just want us to get it straight. When you are working, you can look for your colors. Now look at the stroke. We have white stroke. We don't need stroke. You remove it. So now this is it. Now what next? We have the welcome September. How do we get this? You use your text tool. Text tool is basically to write. Now using the text tool, still the same thing. Your options will come out. Your color, your font size, and your font style. Now the one I use is Arrow. Welcome. So you can see that the font size is bigger than the rectangle, so you might want to reduce it. 400. This one like this is fair enough. Now you can see that it's not in alignment with the rectangle. You cannot just do something like this. You want to also make the welcome to be slant. Then the same thing, your Ctrl T or your free transform. Then you rotate it. Then I transform welcome. Now the other one is September. How you duplicated the rectangle for the to get the second rectangle, you can also duplicate this text. Now once you duplicate, I'm using Ctrl J to duplicate. I told you how to duplicate from the layer panel. You right click on it, then you see duplicate layer. But now I'm using Ctrl J so that I can be fast. So you just drag it down. Then now you cannot be having two welcome here. How do you edit this? You still click on the text tool. You come to any space within the welcome and you click. Once you click, it is ready to be edited. You can highlight everything, Ctrl A for highlighting, or you left click where the cursor is, then you drag down, then you just change it to September. This one is still too big, so you can reduce this one a little to 390. Still too big. You can use 350. So this one is fair enough. And when you are done like that, check it. So now, what else is here? Wish you a happy new month. Still the same thing. You repeat the same process. You type with your text tool, then you slant it again. Then exploiting the supplies of grace, the same thing. Just come here, exploiting the supplies. Now I'm having a different font for that. I use Trueno. You can use a font that match. So now you can see the font color. I have to change this. To change the font color, you come to this place, set the text color. the text color rather, not font color. So you come here. If it's red, they have different options. So now we are working with white. Yes, okay. As time goes on, I will teach you guys how to use the color code. It's very, very important. That is when you want to get an accurate color. So you check it. So now, in this one, to wrap up this, you notice in the background there's somewhat like a faint picture. Now I will show you how to get that faint picture. We can use any picture. I want to use this logo, so I can wrap up this session. Now I see the logo is covering everywhere. Logo is covering everywhere. Why? Like I explained earlier, because it's at the top of this layer. The layer panel is at the top, so it's dominated everything in the workspace. So now what do? You take it down. Take it down. How do you take down? Let me go up again. Once the layer is selected like this, you hold your left click, then you just start dragging your mouse down. Just start dragging your mouse down. Just start dragging. Now I want to put it above this rectangle. You can see now. Since it's faint, you come to this opacity. You work with this opacity. Then you reduce the opacity. As you keep reducing, it will be going faint. It will be going faint. You can see now. The gray stream is now fainted at the background. So that is how we get this. You can just save. First of all, you save your file. Your file is really, really important. Ctrl S is for save. Then, or you come to file. You see save. Ctrl S. Then the folder that you want to save from. I opened from Graystream, that is why it took me to Graystream folder. Then I can save September. Now as I've saved as a Photoshop file, any mistake or once I close, I can still go back to the file and edit. So now you cannot upload Photoshop file on WhatsApp. You only upload in JPEG. So now to save as JPEG, this is a Photoshop software, so anything you want to do initially, it will read as a Photoshop file. But the reason for this save as is that, okay, you don't want to save it as Photoshop file, you need another option. That is the reason for the save as. So what do you want to save it as? So you come to this file as well, save as. Then you can still use the same name. Then this is the format to give you different. It will give you different formats. Now you see, but the one you should use is JPEG. Now notice we have 3 JPEGs here, but sometimes some applications or some softwares, they don't read these ones, these two, but this one is universal. All softwares, all applications, they read this. So now you save as JPEG. You can see it's giving you sample of other JPEGs that are here. If I double click on this one now, it will ask if I want to replace it, but since I'm not replacing, I just save on its own. Then this is an option for your quality. If maybe the file is too large, you can reduce the quality. As it's 9 now, you can see that the size has reduced to 370 KB. If I increase to 12 now, it will increase. Now it has increased to 690. So you save. So that's all. I know it's not looking as this one, but I just want to make the class very short. But if you really follow up, you can create this by yourself if you really follow up. So that is all for this session. We'll move on to another thing. Thank you guys. If anyone has okay, I think I'll type this on the group. Thank you guys.